Welcome, and thanks for tuning in to the latest installment of the Driftr Podcast, Flights, Miles, and Abroad, with your hosts, Brandon Boone, Cherese Sandoval, and Brian Fontenelle. Learn how to maximize points, new interesting places to explore, stories from fellow travelers, and get your traveler questions answered from our weekly podcast.
And we back for another episode of the Driftr Podcast. Did you miss us?
Nope.
Oh my God.
They did not miss us. Brandon did not miss us.
Of course they miss us.
I miss
y'all.
you, Brandon.
I miss you too. I'm just playing.
Mm-hmm. I missed you, Brian.
I miss you too, Snake Attack. Brandon, I don't know about that though. I don't know if I miss Brandon. I miss being like a whole week without him.
I miss
Brandon said new
everybody.
haircut. Who this?
Right. Who this? Brandon said I'm going back in time to the 90s, y'all. Bringing back old styles new.
Look, new cut, new me.
Man, this ain't even throwback. This ain't even Flashback Friday. He already flashback. Man, so today's episode is going to be a little special today. So we got some new stuff going on our format today in season 2. So we're going to go ahead and quickly kick things off into our first segment. Getting right into y'all's favorite subject, my favorite subject, cards and points.
Let's go.
And for the cards and points segment today, we're going to talk about the Cherese Inc. card. We're going back to Chase, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
But not just any Cherese Inc. card. We talked about the Cherese Inc. Business Preferred card already, but many do not know that there is a secondary Cherese Inc. card. And so for today's episode, we're focusing on the Cherese Inc. Business Cash credit card.
Right. Don't get them confused. This is the business cash card.
Business Cash, not Business Preferred.
Which means this is a cashback card.
Cashback card. So a few of y'all might be wondering, why are we talking about cashback cards? Well, for today's episode, we're specifically focusing on the Cherese Inc. Business Cash Card, because cashback can also help you save dollars in your routes to helping find money to spend that you can use for travel. So while today it's not exactly cards and points, it's cards and cashback. Cashback can help you save some money. And also, it's all about how you spend your money, meaning we're checking the categories that you're spending so that you can get the most rewards back. So for today's episode, we're going to break it down real quickly, the top 5. Why the 5 reasons should we use the Cherese Inc. Business Cash Card?
Top five.
Who the greatest rappers of all time? Dylan, and Dylan. Because I spit that hot fire.
Let's go.
Let's go.
To kick off the I almost forgot the name of this card already.
I know, we keep forgetting it every 5 seconds.
Inc. Business Cash Credit Card. So you get $300 bonus cashback after you spend $3,000 on purchases in the first 3 months. Which again, that says $300 bonus cashback. And some of the major benefits is 0% interest rate for the first 12 months. You get 5% cashback, and you can also earn an extra 2% cashback on the first 25,000 spent combined purchases in the first anniversary year. And then Brian will get a little bit more in detail on some of the other benefits and the actual cashback offers.
So like as I mentioned, we always talk about it's how you spend your money. You need to be getting credit cards based on how you spend your money so you can maximize the categories. That 5% on the first 25K is office supplies, internet, cable, and phone services. How many of y'all got a Boost Mobile phone?
I do.
Boost Mobile, AT&T, Verizon Wireless, doesn't matter. Internet and phone services, you can save a lot of money. So if you happen to still be paying for cable and not being a millennial that hasn't cut the cord, you have the opportunity to get 5% cash back on your money, which, hey, that's better than putting some of your money into a savings account.
Right.
So make sure that you're looking at the categories where you can maximize your cash back. 5% cash back on office supplies at stores. You also can use that for any kind of supplies you may need if you're doing a project, or if you happen to be doing a fundraiser where you're giving school supplies for students during back to school times of year. You might want to be the beneficiary that goes out and buys stuff for the money raised. Just putting ideas in your head. Ideas to help you make you travel.
Right.
You can earn 2% cash back on the first 25K in a year spent at gas stations and restaurants. Restaurants also at Chase is a broad category.
Right.
Restaurants at Chase also include the times that you go to a bar. Gas stations. We know that we spend gas. Hey, you might want to ask your friends to borrow your car and fill it up for you and use your credit card and pay you back over Venmo, Square, or PayPal because you need to get your money. But 2% cash back on restaurants and gas stations is definitely something that you can take advantage of right away, especially from your normal everyday purchases. And then outside that, you're getting 1% cash back. So instead of using your debit card, make sure that you replace it with maybe the Chase Inc. Business Cash Credit Card. So that way you can take 1% cash back on all of your purchases, which will help you save money. Which means put your monthly bills on there. If you could, put your rent, your mortgage on there. All that adds up in the end of the year, that 1%. You have no idea. Not to mention, you get employee cards at no cost. You get family members on there. Zero liability protection, meaning you're not held responsible for unauthorized charges. You get purchase protection. That would be in the top 5.
Right.
Covers your new purchases for up to 120 days against damage or theft, up to $10K per claim and up to $50K per account. So, anything damaged in the first 120 days, you got it, put on this card, and guess what? You'll possibly get something brand new. But always, the Chase cards are known for their legendary auto rental collision damage waiver, which gives them primary coverage on a rental car. So if you happen to rent the Ferrari and rack up a bill in a car wreck, hopefully you use Chase. Hopefully it's not too expensive too, because they also have limits. But you can definitely consider your Chase card to be your primary card when you're going for rental. So definitely the top 5. Auto rental collision waiver, 1% cash back on all purchases, 2% cash back on the first $25K spent in a year for gas station and restaurants, 5% cash back first $25K spent in a year at office supply stores or on internet, cable, and phone services, and right now, $300 bonus cash back. But
that's lit.
One more thing. One of the things that we forgot to cover about the credit card. 0 annual fee.
What?
There you go. You're talking my language right there.
Right.
So it does not cost you to have this card.
There you have it. Oh yeah, one more thing to keep in mind that you don't have to use the cashback if you have another Chase card, like the Chase Preferred or the Business Preferred. You can transfer those points to that account, so that way you can use it for travel.
What? There is a workaround.
Right.
So you have
you can build up them points on the Chase Inc. cashback, transfer it, and now your points double.
And that $300, for the cashback represents probably about what 30,000
points. Yeah, so you can rack up a great amount of points with this card and still get good benefits from it.
Yep.
And there's no fee.
And no fee.
So any of you guys have that card?
Nah, I had considered it for like a hot second.
Right. Yeah.
Brandon, you don't have it?
I don't have it. I'm still at 524. Unfortunately.
That dreadful term.
Right. So you got to play your card smart though, but
play your cards 3 steps. Man, like I think I'm finally out of 524. Like,
oh yeah, I saw you talking about that.
I think I'm like 124.
Bro, what?
Yeah, it's only been a long 25 months.
And you haven't applied for any card?
Nah.
What?
I'm taking my time with this one.
I thought you looked different.
Man, I racked up so much on Amex right now. I don't even need a new credit card.
I feel you, bro.
Because I got so many Amex cards, it's ridiculous. I would go for more Amex cards if I could. But no, I'm trying to get my strategy down for what cards I want. So I'm definitely trying to plan for a Chase card. So this card could be a strong contender.
Oh yeah.
Especially because some categories, you know, you got to eat,
right?
Got to get gas, you got to go on the internets, and you got to pay for your cell phone bill because we all got cell phones nowadays.
I will tell you that 3 times points on the restaurants add up very, very quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
that
is my thing.
Like, if you go to the bar and you want to buy that first round shots,
yes,
all your friends pay you back.
Easy points.
Yeah. And then you go to a restaurant, you spend, especially restaurant spending. That's where I think a lot of our budget goes to for all people. Doesn't matter where you work. Like you spend your money on food most of the time. So gotta consider it, man. That's where it's at.
Get those points.
Get those points, y'all. So hope to see y'all getting this card soon. Y'all getting low down on the Chase Inc. Business Cash credit card, not preferred.
Right.
Making sure that you're utilizing that for your strategy. So now we're moving on to the next segment of the show where we got an amazing tour of a place to go travel. Kiera always comes through with some place I need to go check out. So for today's show, Kiwi, where are we going to?
Guys, we're going to go to Singapore.
What?
And please don't say that's, oh my God, I never heard of Singapore, because I know you just went there, Brian.
I never heard of it, but I just went there. Okay, I can't lie to y'all.
Couple quick things about Singapore. So the most important thing I always look up first is, do I need a visa? That's important. So you don't need a visa if you're going to stay there for 90 days or less, but you need to make sure that you have at least 6 months remaining on your passport when you get there. So you don't need that. The next thing is, I was thinking about this and I looked it up because it crossed my mind. Singapore airport is called the Changi Airport, and they actually service like over 50 different airlines. So, and I like went on their website and looked it up. It was like every single airline you could possibly think of listed on that website. So if you're trying to maximize your points, definitely try to go to Singapore, because you can definitely use point strategies to travel there. The next thing on the list is there's so many different things to do in Singapore. When I think about it before looking this up, I always thought that like shopping is really good there. The food, the pool thing that you went to, Brian.
Oh my gosh.
What is that called?
The infinity pool that's looking out in the city from Marina Bay Sands.
What?
Okay. Did you have to pay to go there? Is it open to the public?
So
how does that work?
It's definitely not open to the public. You have to have a key card, so you have to spend a night there at the hotel, which it's definitely nice. You gotta catch it the right day. I definitely know that it was like one night for almost $800 though. Ooh. So you're gonna come out some guapo for that. But it's worth it when you get in that pool and it's like the perfect weather because it's like warm, and then you're right there off the infinity pool, and then you get those perfect IG photos, you know, the ones that people lust after, and you're just like, yeah, it was worth it. But no, like the pool was nice and the hotel was nice, and it's like being in like a 7-star version of a Vegas hotel. Like it was like this hotel with all these restaurants, and it had a shopping mall connected to it and an underground mall, and it had a whole garden in the backyard of it that you could walk through, and they had a rooftop bar on one of these like things in the garden that you could look out and see. So like definitely seeing the gardens and Marina Bay Hotel and the shopping mall, all of it together was like worth the experience.
Okay. And like 10 of you in the room, and so it wasn't that expensive, right?
Oh no, it was only 2, man. Me and my little mentee. He and I held it down.
That's that big money. I told you that's that big money, Brian.
No, it's that graduation money. Graduate, we work in corporate America.
Gotcha. Okay. So you can go to that. What is the name of the pool again?
Yeah, go to the infinity pool at Marina Bay Sands.
Marina Bay Sands. Okay,
you'll thank me later.
Yes. Okay. So the other things that you can do in Singapore, and I have several friends that actually go to Singapore to do this. There's Formula One racing there. So, and I guess there's only like a couple different places in the world where you can go watch Formula One racing. I think Dubai is one of the other places. So a lot of people I know actually go to Singapore to watch Formula One races. So you can go there to do that. Their bike sharing is very, very popular. And from what I understand, the architecture in Singapore is amazing. So you can ride around the city and look at all the different buildings. There are hiking trails, rainforests. There's the Singapore Botanic Gardens. There are also urban farms or organic farms that you can like visit and tour. I would actually be interested in doing that. Did you go do that, Brian? Any urban farms or organic farms?
No, I didn't get to do that one because I was on a quick trip.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I would try that if I had the chance. Singapore is also known for their electronic dance festivals. So I'm sure those probably go all night long. I don't know if I would want to do that, but if you're into it, try it out. Let us know how it is.
Probably lit.
I mentioned this earlier. The architecture. The architecture there is beautiful. What did you see in the architecture, Brian?
Oh my gosh. Like I love to go take pictures everywhere and everywhere I go, so I can take images, put them around the house. But I mean, when you talk about architecture, it was just a beautiful place. From the Marina Bay Sands Hotel and how it was developed to the different buildings that you could see, especially from like the infinity pool. You got a good sense of architecture. Like their museums were designed really nice. Their waterfronts and just the surrounding areas were just really nice. And they also have like a water show that happens like every night, like 8 p.m. And it's really dope. I mean, just from everything from the architecture, just the way the city was built, it was a beautiful place. Very colorful too in certain parts.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So now that we know what you can do while you're in Singapore, another good bit of information is, which I thought was interesting, and I heard this before, but Singapore is a hub for finance, commerce, and transportation.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of people are really looking into trying to, work internationally or work remotely or, move to a different country. So this may be a city or a place where you want to go to just, try something new. So I've had a couple friends that have interviewed for positions in Singapore. So you may want to just look into that and see what you can find, and that may be your next destination. The last point. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say you could definitely see all of the different financial firms that were there just from looking at the pool. I mean, you saw HSBC Bank, you saw Citi, you saw JP Morgan, you saw so much. It was just amazing. So yeah, definitely strong financial hub.
Okay. And then the last thing is, which I was alluding to earlier, it's a perfect gateway city to go to other places in the world. So you can fly to Singapore on points or use different various airlines to go to India, the Maldives, Bali, Fiji, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, or any other places that, that are not, normal everyday countries that most people visit. So definitely use Singapore like Brian did as a starting point for your trip. And then you can work your way around the world and go to other different cities and then fly back to Singapore, and then head back home. So that's what you did, Brian. You right?
Yep. Went to Bali while I was over there. It was like a 2-hour flight. I happened to be flying out the day after Valentine's Day, so that definitely was the ticket home. Ticket going was expensive, but ticket coming back wasn't that expensive. So.
Okay. And there was a lot of people in the airport. It was a busy airport.
Yeah, and then one of the things cool about the airport is they also have a butterfly garden. I can't remember what terminal it is, but you gotta check that out. I didn't get the chance to, so when I go back to Singapore. And as I said when I go back to Singapore, I'm going to check that out because Singapore would definitely be a place to go travel and see.
Oh, one other quick question. Did you hear anything about getting like custom suits made there?
Yeah. So there definitely is people out there that can do custom suits. And one of my friends, he got his done while we were out there.
Who?
Of course, Nick.
Yeah.
So
come on, bro.
They'll take your measurements, and they'll build it within a couple of days. So
that's what's up.
Yeah, it was definitely lit.
Was it affordable?
Affordable depending on your pocket.
That means no. Was it Iceland expensive or no?
I think his suits were probably about maybe 400 USD or.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Not too bad.
That's not too bad.
400, 500. Okay. I forgot to ask him. The whole.
That's
price.
not bad for a custom suit.
Yeah.
No, that's not bad.
And he had a really nice jacket. So.
2 for 200 though.
Right.
Yeah, like a 2 for 200.
Yeah. Now you gotta go to Hong Kong for that.
Let me get that 3-piece
okay.
3.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, if you visited Singapore, please let us know. Give us your reviews, your thoughts. Any type of plans that you did. Let us know. Any do's or don'ts, and also we would love to see your pictures. So please let us know. We would love to hear back from you.
Definitely make sure on Instagram use the hashtag Driftr Travels in your posts, and make sure that we can share it out to the world, because we'll make sure to showcase you on the Driftr Travels Instagram page. So definitely want to be able to take your travel stories and be able to inspire others.
Every week, the Driftr Podcast features dialogue and stories from our travel community. Real stories from real travelers. If you want to join our travel community, please visit signup.driftertravels.com. Have a question about the podcast? Want to submit a question of the day or a topic for consideration? Send an email to podcastinquiry@driftertravels.com. We would love to connect with you.
All right. So we're getting on the way to our favorite part of this show, where we're going to do an open discussion. But today, on today's show, we're going to do something a little bit different. We have a special guest.
What?
Special guest.
Our very first special guest.
That makes him the first special guest.
Yeah.
And so for today, on today's show, you know, as we always end our shows, we always talk our open discussion. And it's a topic that revolves around something that you as a traveler really want to know, getting into the travel community. And it's just something that you're always debating. But today we want to get another input. So for our special guest on our special open discussion segment, we have the Dr. Cherese Sullivan on the show today. How are you doing, Dr. Sullivan?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being on the show. And she's our special guest because she's a good friend of Kiwi.
Kiwi?
Yes. Thank you for being on the show, girl.
Oh, no problem, girl. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
So, to give you a little background about Dr. Sullivan, Dr. Cherese Sullivan graduated from Cornell University in 2010 with her doctorate in veterinary medicine. She previously graduated from Penn State University with her Bachelor of Science degree in Animal Bioscience and Tuskegee University with a Master's degree in Veterinarian Science. She's been in Houston, Texas, H-Town, since 2011 after relocating from the Washington, D.C. area. Dr. Sullivan has worked in general practice, emergency, and shelter medicine. Her veterinary interests include surgery, neurology, behavior, and, I can't say that word.
Exotics.
Too many different connotations. Right. She's a member of the American Veterinarian Medical Association. She is owned by a very feisty Jack Russell Terrier named Quincy. Her hobbies include cooking, traveling, and attending outdoor festivals. Hey, I feel you on that.
Oh, yeah.
Festival season all day. Dr. Sullivan, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
So, as a kind of another icebreaker, we know we talked about a little bit of your hobbies, but tell us, where is your favorite trip that you've ever been on, or your favorite place you've gone to, and why?
I'll say Turks and Caicos. It's just beautiful. The water there, it's just like a blue that I've never seen before, and it's like so shallow you can just walk out like for many feet. It's just gorgeous place. And the people were great as well. So I'll have to say Turks and Caicos, but Trinidad also has a very special place in my heart. It's like a second home to me.
Hey, dope. I feel you that. That's dope.
Right. I heard great things about Turks and Caicos.
I hear it and I don't even go see it.
Right.
Wait, you didn't go to Turks and Caicos for your honeymoon, Brandon?
No, I'm with the Curacao.
Oh, Curacao. Okay.
Yeah.
Close, but no cigar.
Yeah. Right.
Turks and Caicos is my honeymoon too.
Oh, very nice.
Dope.
Nice.
And Cherese also went on the Yacht Week trip last year. Excuse me. It was like, how many people were on that trip? Well, it was like the Black Yacht Week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yacht Week, Croatia. It was lit. I don't know what else to say. It was a lot of us there. I think we had like 10 boats.
Oh, dang.
That's crazy.
Oh, dang. I'm trying to do Yacht Week this year.
Right.
So. That's already a bet right there. Already a bet. Well,
we had the little veterinarian boat. It was like 3 of us veterinarians on the same boat.
That's dope.
Represent.
Represent.
Right.
All right, y'all. We're about to get headed on to our discussion topic. So, for today, for our open discussion segment, what we're going to be discussing today on our show is traveling with pets. Surprise! Y'all should know, with the veterinarian show, we're going to talk about pets. So, this was inspired from our first conversation from episode 1 in season 2. And we talked about peacocks. Because everybody, no exclusions. We were taking grandmas, black people, children, cookie monsters. Everybody needs a pet when they travel, right? I want my comfort animal. I'm just saying.
I got my peacock.
So, let's get into discussion, traveling with pets. So, Dr. Sullivan, can you provide us an overview about how we as savvy travelers can travel with pets, especially peacocks, because everybody wants a peacock, right?
Yeah, so there's, a variety of pets that people are traveling with nowadays. I would say most airlines require a health certificate that's issued by a veterinarian that typically includes a record of vaccines, some sort of past health history. Domestic and international travel can vary significantly. So you really have to kind of go by that country or that state's regulations, and as well as knowing the regulations of the airline. The main document is generally the health certificate, and that certifies that an exam has been completed within 30 days of travel for the pet. In some cases, it has to be completed within 10 days of travel. And that exam certifies 3 things. The pet has been microchipped, if applicable. The pet has not been exposed to rabies or quarantined for rabies recently, and that the pet is free of obvious contagious disease, which is a big one because folks have to know that non-contagious diseases will not be certified by that health certificate, meaning if your pet is old and has kidney disease, if your pet has liver disease or a heart murmur or anything else like that, that's not what that health certificate is for. It's just saying that your pet is not going some contagious disease to pets in the area that it's going to travel to, or other animals.
Microchip.
Right. I need my notepad. Hold on.
Right. Hey, she said the last 10 days, the way that some people be sick, I don't think these should be regulations for dogs. I think these should be regulations for like people.
Facts.
Like, you know, some people get on the plane, they coughing and stuff. Meanwhile,
that Ebola.
Yeah, I ain't catching that. Man, that's really interesting.
Agree. I've been next to many coughing passengers, and I'm like, did somebody sign up on your health certificate?
Right. Like, I want to see them health certificates if you know it's real.
Right.
So you talked about, microchipping. That's interesting. I think we should get microchipped.
No, I'm okay on that.
That's
no,
that future. That's that movie.
It's coming to the future.
Nah.
But no, on a serious note, with the process that's you've outlined and 3 most important steps in getting your pet certified for you to be able to travel, there's been a great increase in emotional support animals that I've especially noticed traveling over the last couple of months. Do you kind of know what the rise is with the popularity of everybody wanting to have their emotional support animal?
Yeah, it's really exploded over the past few years. Honestly, there's a lot of different agencies that will certify animals, both, in person and online, which is super simple to get. There's really no overlying agency to govern all of them. So many of the non-suitable pets are becoming certified. Which is really unfortunate for those that really are trained and equipped to help folks with whether it be emotional support or physical support. And those animals are very, very important, in our society. Unfortunately, a lot of these processes don't involve a veterinarian. So, personally, I've had a flight where a supposed emotional support dog was on the plane, and unfortunately it bit a passenger, and the pet and the owner were both escorted off the flight. So, yeah.
Wow.
I can only imagine Brian on that flight.
We fighting, fam. I'm just letting you know straight up.
Vouchers for a lifetime, huh?
Yeah, vouchers for life. Man, you brought up a good point. Man, a dog bit. So, talking about anxiety for a person traveling, when it comes to pets, do pets tend to experience that type of anxiety, or usually are they well behaved, or are they just shoved in a bag so far back that they can't reach you?
Oh, yes, definitely. A lot of pets suffer from travel anxiety, and that can be whether it's in a car or a plane or anything else. Things that you can do to help pets to acclimate them to travel and make them more comfortable. Some of those things include putting their travel crate out, tossing treats in it to just make them feel a little bit more comfortable with that crate that they're going to be traveling in. I suggest that you do that months before you even travel. Also, giving a t-shirt or something with your family's familiar scent in it, or potentially even doing something like a pheromone spray, which a pheromone is a scent that's detected only by animals. There are a couple on the market for dogs. There's Adaptil, and Adaptil is made to mimic the scent of a lactating dog. So it kind of smells like mother's milk type of thing. And then there's another one for cats called Feel Away, which is meant to mimic the facial scent of a cat. So that's another thing that can potentially comfort them and is clinically proven to reduce stress and anxiety in pets. For those that need a little bit more help, there are pharmaceutical or drugs that we can give them. Valium and acepromazine are the most common. A lot of people take Valium for their travel anxiety.
Note taken.
So those are some things that we can give them, provided that they're otherwise healthy. And a lot of times blood work is involved to make sure that their internal organs are okay before prescribing. But with those medications, you have to be very careful with your airline's guidelines, because there are some, which I know United Airlines is included, that you cannot give any medications to a pet prior to them traveling.
Interesting. And why they decide that?
I guess it's for liability reasons. If a pet is overdosed or if a pet has a bad reaction to a medication, they don't want to be liable for that. So that's what I surmise from that.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Right.
This is so technical. I didn't think it went so in depth.
Yeah.
It's usually used to seeing someone carrying their dog in a very cute travel compartment or some type of bag, and you're just not really or fitting them in your purse, because women love to fit dogs in their purse, just like MacBook Airs and a whole makeup studio, because it's not just like one piece. So you never thought about all of the work that it really kind of goes into.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, people bring babies on the plane just like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Different topic,
different day. How should travelers react? Or I guess from a traveler's perspective, you see somebody with a pet on a plane. I guess in your advice, Dr. Sullivan, what do you think? How should we have any fears, anxiety, worry about getting bit, worry about catching rabies? No, seriously, how should a traveler kind of react when they see a dog or any type of comfort animal on a plane?
So you generally shouldn't be worried about contracting rabies or any other contagious disease.
Thank God.
Because that should have been certified prior to getting on the flight.
Look, if I get bit and I have rabies, then I'm about to start suing all around. Everybody getting sued, just like Oprah. You get sued, you get sued, you get sued.
Rabies is pretty rare, so I think you're pretty safe. So I would say one is to have compassion for the person who needs the animal for whatever reason. Animals have roles both emotionally and physically as far as assistance, and some of these pets are members of the family, and truly a lot of times they're more scared than you are. So I would say that's first and foremost. Two, if they're really truly adequately trained as a support animal, they should really not bother you in any way. So a pet that's trying to go jump on other people's laps and things of that nature, that's not what I would consider a well-trained support animal, and is probably inappropriate for that situation. And then the third thing would be if you have allergies or if you're actually bothered by a support animal in any way, I would speak up to a flight attendant and ask to be reseated. They really do have an obligation to you as a passenger, provided that another seat is open to reseat you.
Good to know, especially with allergies.
Right.
That's a good point.
That's
I didn't even
big.
think about that. Didn't even think about that. So as a support animal, what kind of process do animals have to go through to be considered, I guess, a support animals? Like any kind of extra training as you think of like animals that are like for like hearing impaired, or I mean vision impaired?
Yeah, so there are a lot of different agencies that actually will train animals for that. There's Guiding Eyes for the Blind that trains guide dogs for people who are visually impaired. And they go through a pretty rigorous process, both as far as their medical examinations and making sure free of both contagious and other genetic diseases. And making sure that they're overall healthy, but also making sure that they are equipped to appropriately help the person that needs assistance. I personally have worked with pets that have been trained to help the blind, trained to help the hearing impaired, trained to assist with seizure notifications, and also trained to assist with emotional behavioral issues in students. So there's a wide variety that these pets can do. I would say for one interesting story that I have is that I had a vision assistance dog from Guiding Eyes for the Blind, which is a really, really good agency. But unfortunately, this pet was just not equipped, and it ended up eating the owner's underwear and
you don't need those.
To have surgery for an obstruction, and got fired after that.
What? Fine pets out here?
Dang, everybody in an unemployment line.
So what happened? Where's the dog go after they get fired?
A lot of times they're adopted out as personal pets to people, but this person really did need a vision assistance dog, so they placed her with another dog, and the other pet was taken to be adopted to somebody just to be a house pet.
It's real out here.
Man, that dog was in the unemployment line,
right?
collecting
man,
that workforce unemployment check.
Getting the pink slip.
Right.
I know, right?
Ooh, Lord.
They give the pink slip to everybody nowadays.
Anybody can get it, bro.
Human, dog kind. Next thing you know, we're gonna start giving pink slips to bears.
Come on.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I have a quick question for you, Cherese.
Sure.
So how long can like dogs and cats fly for, like generally? Like, can you take them on a flight from like DC to Dubai, which is like 14 hours, or is there like a time limit that they should really be flying?
Yeah, so typically we adhere to the kind of the same time limits that people. So pretty much, typically you'll have, if you're flying to a long distance, you'll have some sort of layover. So they'll typically have some sort of rest area for these pets, refill their water, etc. So, as far as I know, there's not like a specific hour regulation as far as, how many hours they can fly, but they do kind of adhere to the same things that we do.
So have you heard of people trying to take their dog like all the way around the world, or their cat or whatever animal?
Oh yeah, I've had so international health certificates have to be issued by a USDA certified veterinarian, which I am USDA certified. You have to go through a couple of training modules to be certified to do that, and go through an in-person certification course. And then when you do that, additionally, the owner will have to send the health certificate to a USDA staff veterinarian. So that's typically it's in whatever capital of your state. And you have to have that approved by them to make sure that everything's A-OK for international travel. I've issued health certificates pretty much anywhere. Very commonly here in Texas, we've got a lot of dogs that spend a certain time in Mexico. So they're in Mexico for the winter, come back here during the summer, or vice versa. So I issue a lot of health certificates for that. I've issued health certificates for Japan, all types of different places. So
that's a long flight.
Right.
Yeah,
like
Hawaii.
Even if you're like flying from Alaska, it's still a long way to Japan from Alaska.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's travel Bay right there. You taking Bay with you.
Getting those stamps, bro.
Right. Stamps with Bay.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I will have to get somebody to watch my dog. I couldn't take him that far.
Nah, he coming. We about to experience his lifetime together.
Be great.
He gonna have his own bed in the hotel and everything. I'm just saying.
So are you paying for a ticket for an animal? Like at that point? Like if you're going to like Japan or something, or is it just like an animal fee?
Oh yeah, so there's fees associated whether you're traveling in the cabin or whether your pet is traveling in cargo. There's definitely fees associated per each airline for that.
Okay. Gotcha.
I didn't even think about that cost.
Right. Can you use points for those fees?
Yeah.
Right. I was gonna say, can you use points? Can you use points to pay for these?
Unfortunately, you can't. I flew my dog from Houston to Maryland for my wedding, and he's in cargo, and yeah, no points. They were like, no go on that.
So did you have to put him in cargo because of his size?
Yes. So my dog is about a little over 20 pounds. So he flew in cargo, and I had a very good experience with that. Certainly there's differences between cargo versus the cabin. And this really varies per each airline. Some airlines will allow pets to travel as cargo, with the exception of will travel as cabin, with exception of service animals. They can. Some will allow only cabin. Some will allow you to have a mix between, depending on the size of the pet, whether it goes in cabin or whether it can go in cargo. Generally under 20 pounds can go in the cabin, whereas 20 pounds and over will go in the cargo. Also, there's some breed restrictions. Typically, it's what we call brachycephalic breeds. So those smush-faced dogs, bulldogs, Boston Terriers, and pugs. Some airlines will not fly them at all. Some airlines will only fly them during certain seasons, meaning that it's not during the summer where it's really hot and they could be prone to having respiratory or breathing issues. And then both cabin and your cargo pets will need to be in an airline approved crate or carrier. I flew United Airlines with my dog in the cargo hold. United Airlines has something that's called the Pet Safe program. And pets that are in cargo are in an actual pressurized and temperature controlled hold that is the same exact as the cabin.
Oh, that's good.
Fancy.
Yeah. And they're unloaded and they're loaded last and unloaded first. And they are placed in climate controlled vans for any type of transfers. The airline will replenish food and water as needed, for instance, on a layover, etc. And they have a 24-hour help desk and specially trained and certified agents that deal with those pets. I will say you will need to get to the airport well in advance in order to travel with your pet, because often these loading sites, especially with cargo, are off-site and not at your main airport check-in areas.
Oh boy, I guess I ain't cutting it close then. All right, last question. I guess it's not possible to lose your dog like you can lose your luggage.
Brian, stop being insensitive.
I'm just saying, if I roll up to the airport, you're like, I lost my dog. I'm like, it's not that easy to lose your dog like you lose your luggage, right?
Possibly.
I'm just saying.
Unfortunately, on occasion, it does happen.
I see.
Wow.
Pets can't escape their cages. Sometimes it's just not completely secured. Although most airlines go through a lot of steps as far as my dog's crate was zip tied to the high heavens when he went.
Ain't no getting out.
But unfortunately, on occasion, you'll hear stories about dogs that have gotten loose, either in the transfer process or somehow have escaped their carrier in a cargo hold.
Oh, no. Well, you've heard it from Dr. Sullivan first. Make sure you get to the airport early, I struggled saying that. Sorry.
Super
I struggled saying that. And that you should not worry about if there are dogs in the cabin about getting bit and getting rabies, and hopefully that they're trained very well. And remember, pets are more scared than you.
Yes, they are. They are. They have feelings.
They have feelings. We all have
emotions.
And emotions.
Yes.
Dr. Sullivan, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing so much of your knowledge regarding traveling with pets. I'm traveling next month with my comfort animal.
And what's that?
I don't know.
You're very welcome. And if anybody has any questions about domestic or international travel, just make sure that you go to the USDA website, aphis.usda.gov, and then you go /APHIS /pet-travel.
Bam.
And make sure to catch it in the show notes, so that way you can make sure to have that link. And as always, make sure to connect with us. We love talking to you in the community on a regular day-to-day basis when we're not actually having the chance to record the podcast. So make sure to go to driftr.com/Slack so you can join our Slack community, because we want to communicate with you. All those questions that you want to ask, we want to hear. When you're also on the website, make sure to submit your ideas. If you'd like to be a guest like Dr. Sullivan on the show, definitely let us know. We have 2 forms set up where you can submit your questions that you'd like for us to answer, or you can say, hey, I want to be on the podcast show and share my knowledge and my experience with travel, and we'll definitely have you on the show. And as always, make sure to share with your friends our podcast. Tell them, leave us reviews. We love hearing what you like about the podcast so that we can be able to give you more things that you like. And for our next episode, we're about to do something big.
Oh, yeah.
So big.
Big.
We going live. We're doing a live Facebook podcast
Lit.
from Austin, Texas. If you're coming down to visit us for South by Southwest, make sure to check out driftertravels.com to find out about our live showing. It's going to be on Saturday, March 10th at 6 p.m. Central Time. Is that EST? No, it wasn't EST, right? CST, 6 p.m. Central Time, because we're located in Texas in the United States. That big like state country thing in the South.
The big boot.
No,
that's Louisiana. I'm tripping.
Yeah, wrong state, brother.
My
Wrong
home
state.
I'm thinking about home.
He's at home, in his home, but he really home in Texas. His people are. But make sure to tune in and catch us for our live podcast show. So make sure to check us on the live podcast. Tell your friends, and until next time, it's been amazing hanging with y'all. This is one of your co-hosts, Brian Fontenot,
Brandon Boone,
And Cherese Sullivan.
and we out, y'all.
Peace.
Thank you, Cherese, for being on tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just hope. See, Brandon never says peace.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Driftr Podcast, Flights, Miles, and Abroad. Enjoyed the show? Make sure you review us on iTunes. Share the podcast on social media with your friends, family, and fellow travelers. Want to be featured on our podcast or have a question about travel you need answered? Visit driftertravels.com/podcast to learn more and to be a part of our show. Be on the lookout for our next episode. Until next time, Driftr family, travel safe.